In this video, we're going to look at ERC, the Employee Retention Credit, and how to get the deposit, this refundable credit for payroll taxes in your bank account. Now, we did, as I pull this little sheet off here, what we have done in a prior video, here's kind of a takeaway of where we were at. And what we had was we wanted this home run. We were playing ball. And in that video, the home run was getting the money deposited, this refundable credit of up to 70% of wages paid in our bank account. So in that video, and Lori, you've got Wiles, your son, in baseball, T-ball. And so he's learning how to run the bases. And the thing about it, in order to get this credit, again, as I used in the other video, if you had somebody that you're paying $15 an hour in Chicago, that's $30,000 a year. And in 2021, the credit's 70%. If we're a qualified business, that could be on that $30,000 paid from now through the end of this year, could be up to a $21,000 money in your account, less any payroll tax liability. So again, it's a refundable credit of 70% of wages for 2021. And also we talked about 2020. So the important thing out of this video, this overview video, is you got to touch each base. You can't go, I'd like to go from home to third and just get the money, but I have to go make sure I'm a qualified business by quarter, then qualified wages, fill out the report, and I get a home run, I get money in my bank. So for this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to first base. So let's run down here to first base. So our focus here, a short video on what's a qualified business. So what I'd like to do is I would like to just do a little squiggly mark, and over here is 2020, and over here is 2021. What happens is I'm going to do a quick overview of what a qualified business is. So first thing is, as we have learned, that number one, it is dealing with a partial or fully shut down of government. So it's a partial or fully shut down, or I should say suspension. I think that's what the law says. Fully or partially suspended.
By your government, whether it's local, national.
Yeah, local,
whatever.
National, state, whatever.
Whatever's your government.
Or you have a 50% decline in gross receipts. So that's the first test in 2020. Now, we do that, and if that happens, then we get a credit of 50% of $10,000 qualified wages for the year. So this is a test. If we meet this test, then what happens is we get, put a dollar sign there for money. But no, it's important. Small businesses are going out of business, and this is a lifeline. And we're thinking about 2020. What we'll find out when we get over here to third base, we're going to file a 941X to get our money based on our qualified wages here.
And that 941X is if that you got ERC, or if that you qualify for ERC in 2020, but you're not filing it until now. You're going back.
You're going back. But more importantly, and you know the thing one of the bigger takeaways, and you mentioned this before the video, is if you got PPP in 2020, and if you're getting PPP in 2021, you are now able to get both as long as you don't double dip the wages. And we've done a prior video on don't double dip. In other words, I can't get part of my PPP loan forgiven on $1 of wages and then turn around and claim it on my 941 as a credit. So I can't double dip. So go on.
But you can still, if you got PPP in 2020, you still qualify to look back and see if you have any qualified wages if you meet these two requirements.
Yeah, and you get dollars, which would be a 50% on $10,000 qualified wages. Now, I think the important thing about this is, and I just want to do a timeline here. So this is a timeline for the four quarters. So here's first, second, third, and fourth quarter of 2020. So we're looking back right now. In a minute, we're going to go over here on this side and look at 2021. But right now, we're in 2020. So the pandemic started on 3/13. Okay. So what happens is we're going to find out that as long as we're a qualified business, we can have qualified wages from 3/13 all the way over here under 2021 to 12/31/21. So we're talking about this whole time span, but in 2020 there was a set of rules, and in 2021 there's a different set. So we're focused on this one set. So again, fully or partially suspended by any government entity, local, state, whatever, or 50% decline in gross revenues compared to 2019. So then what happens is this is by quarter. So I'm going to put quarter. So in first quarter, let's say that we had a decline and we qualified. At that point in time, from 3/13, I'm going to change colors here. From there to the end of first quarter, we would have potentially qualified wages. But remember, we're qualifying, this test is what's qualifying the business. So then what happens is okay, we qualified for one of these in first quarter. What happens then if we go through to second quarter? Well, the way the law is written, if we qualify here, so let's just say we're a qualified, line this out. So in first quarter, we're a qualified business by the test from first base. Then we get to second quarter, we qualify, including the quarter, we go back above to an 80%, because how you get the credit by going below 50, but then we test, and so in the second quarter, did we get back to 80%? So we did the 50% test here. So there, we're back. So we're going to file, we're a qualified business, we're going to go to second base and check out our qualified wages. So now we're going to go into third quarter, okay? And let's say there, we got back, because I had clients do this, we got back to 80 plus percent.
At 50 or 80%?
Okay. What we're doing here is the 50% test or the shutdown qualified the quarter. Mm-hmm. And each quarter we stay qualified until our income gets above, our gross receipts get above 80%. Because if they don't get above, then what happens is we're still qualified. So we have to drop below 50. Mm-hmm. But then to no longer, they want us, the theory behind this is to keep the employees employed till we get back on our feet. Okay. So getting back on our feet is more of the 80%.
So you qualify if you go below 50, but if you go above 50, you still qualify until you get over 80. Okay.
Right.
That makes a lot more sense.
So we actually go over 80. So let me recap. First quarter, we went below 50%. Second quarter, because we've qualified, we go to second quarter, and until we get back to 80%, we still qualify. So second quarter, we're still below the 80%. In third quarter, we go above the 80%. What happens is that's still a qualified quarter. It includes the quarter you lose your qualification. In fourth quarter, it's a new test. I know this is very complex. And that's why, it'd be nice just to do, I think our one video was quite lengthy on the overview. This shows you why it takes time. So in this is how we qualify here. So in this case, any quarter we qualify under this set of rules, because remember, we could be partially or fully suspended. And if that's the case, because of this or right here, so it's this test or partially or fully suspended. So to qualify a quarter, we either meet one of these. But here's what happens, and I'm so glad you asked that question, because if we're qualifying each quarter, you do both tests, okay? But if I qualify under partially or fully suspended for the quarter, it's only the quarter I qualify that in. So let's say that I qualify fully or partially suspended in the first two quarters, and the third quarter, there was no And this is different in every place in the country. And I hit a quarter that I was not partially or fully suspended. The only way then I qualify is through the percentage test. So this or up here is so important. I have to run both tests each quarter back and forth. And that's kind of why I could talk this, but there's so many numbers, it would never make sense. So what I hope here, and I'm gonna do a recap because I didn't want to take this long, but I am. I just want to go through that. So what I want to do, so that's qualified business, as I said, for 2020. Laura, before I leave this, and again, I want to bounce this off of you because you do payroll for small business and stuff. Before we leave 2020, just a real quick recap. Here's the test, and if I don't make sense or I need to repeat, ask me. Either partially or fully suspended by the government or this 50% test, then we get for qualified wages up to 10,000 qualified wages per year. We get a 50% or $5,000 per employee, and we could have had PPP, and we still get ERC because the law changed at the end of the year, and it's based on each quarter. Now, when you look at these quarters, the other thing we gotta look at is anytime. So let's say here on let's make it 5/1, we got a PPP. Those wages here. So I'm gonna put PPP wages. We can't double dip, cannot double dip. But guess what? We come right back here and we go back to our test and ERC continues. So you can't double dip, but again, this is how the test meets. Once you drop below 50%, then you have to get back to 80%, and each one of those quarters qualify, including the quarter you go over the 80%. Or you can still do this by quarter. But this test here, if I'm partially or fully suspended, it is a quarter by quarter test. Did that make sense? I know it's a hard lift, but that's a qualified business for 2020. And this is where you're going to file, as we said here, at third base. Later in the video, we're going to qualify and get this money back for you on an amended 941X.
So I hope that this helps you. Make sure to share it with your practitioner if they don't already know about it, or share it with your other small business friends. It's important to keep all of our small businesses running and everybody employed.
And I just want you to come back over for 2021 because the reason why it even gets better.
Yeah. More people qualify. If you didn't qualify for 2020, if you watch all this and you qualify, you probably qualify.
You still need to go over there and check for 2021 because the threshold's smaller. It's not 50, it's 20. The percentage is 70, not 50. It's better news. So see you over on the 2021 ERC Money in My Bank.
We're still on first base.
We're still on first base, but we got to go to year number 2, a different set of rules. Thank you. Hope this helps. Stay tuned. See you over on the video 2021 ERC, and let's hit a home run together.